The Seneca Meadows landfill takes up a giant plot of land in my hometown of Seneca Falls, New York. Taking trash all the way from New York City, it generates millions each year and gives some of the earnings to the town, which helps lower taxes. But not all people in the area are in favor of the dump and want to make sure it closes as scheduled in 2023 instead of renewing the contract. I interviewed some locals to see what they thought of the situation.
How long have you lived in Seneca Falls?
My whole life.
How many years? Since 1962.
61. Okay, we got here in 62. As a couple, but this is Vince's hometown.
Oh, so you've been here your whole life.
Except for college and the Army and stuff like that.
I have lived here since 1994.
I've lived in Seneca Falls for roughly 25 years.
20 years.
Do you guys remember when Seneca Meadows bought the site for the landfill?
I think I do. It wasn't a big deal back then.
It wasn't?
Though.
Yeah, I guess I
Not
think
really.
maybe I do too, of it, but I didn't think.
No, it wasn't like a big event or anything?
No.
Oh, okay.
What are your thoughts on the landfill? My thoughts on the landfill are that they pay an awful lot of money to help for services in our town. I don't want to dump in our town, but the dump is already here. It was here when I moved here. So if a dump closes, they can't take it with them, and then we lose the money also. So it's a hard situation. I don't think anyone wants a dump in town, but they spend over $2.5 million they give to the town to help our tax base, which we lose if they close.
I honestly forget it's there until I drive by it, so I don't really have an opinion on it.
It doesn't bother me,
Okay.
okay? I think we have to have some place to dump it. My question is, if they close it, what are we going to do with it?
Good point.
Where are they going to go?
It's probably not going to go anywhere.
That's my. No one's brought that up yet at the meetings and so on. They're everything's like, and I can understand their feelings about the dump and so on.
Yeah.
They're afraid maybe down the line it's going to contaminate Seneca Falls or the area. Maybe, I don't know.
I have a pretty negative opinion of the landfill.
Okay.
I understand that everyone's garbage has to go somewhere, but where that is located is in between two of the Finger Lakes. So it's concerning. I worry about our water quality. I worry about air quality. It's pretty close to each of those two, Waterloo and Seneca Falls, so that is concerning. I'm overall, probably the health ramifications of it worry me the most.
Why do you think it's so controversial as of late?
Well, I think that the contract was just renewed or tried to be renewed to extend it to how long it would be open, and that got people up in arms, and that's why there's so much controversy right now, because they want to keep it open longer than the original contract.
I think people get hysterical about certain topics, and that they have problems with trying to contain some of the odors in the past couple of years in the summer, which they're working on. But I think those odors got a lot of people alarmed and thought that they started to make links with the dump causing cancer rates, which has never been proven. But I think that was when it started, and then people kind of, like I said before, no one really wants a dump, so they started talking about closing the dump. But doing that without the tax base could shut the whole town down.
Because how quickly it started growing. I think it was at one point, like I said, when I came here in 94, it wasn't that big. And when they started trucking in all the garbage from New York City and those areas, it made a huge difference, and it just grew just so quickly. And I think it almost was before we even realized how quickly. And then they started joining the two mountains together, so then it becomes one huge mountain, and then they add another one. And I think that's mainly why it's become so controversial, because people realize how big it's gotten, and it's just so big now that they feel like they need to get it to stop.
It's the latest. Seneca Falls is renowned for having something that we are arguing about. Over the years, it's been one thing after the other. Way back when, they used to argue over the hospital and things like that.
in the school.
I agree with Vince about the fact that the dump is here. And I get upset with the people who are my neighbors that complain all the time about it, especially about the odor. I must have the world's worst nose. I smell it occasionally.
Yeah.
And certainly not anything that I'm going to have to come in off my porch in the summertime because it offends me.
Yeah.
What do you think will end up happening with the landfill?
Well, as you know, they passed the ordinance to not extend it beyond the original contract date.
Yeah.
I'm assuming you know that,
Yeah.
since you're doing some research with this. So my hope is that they stick to it and they are not able to somehow turn that around and enable them to proceed past that date.
I don't see it closing anytime soon. I think it's just going to keep going.
It's a good question. I really don't know. I think right now they're suing the town because the town has broken their agreement. So when a lawyer gets a hold of this, I would think once the emotions are taken out of it, the town might be in trouble because the dump really hasn't done anything that they've held up their end of the bargain except for the smell, which they're working on. So I don't know. I mean, it'll be here at least to 2023. After that, I think it could be here for a few more years, but it also is reaching close to its capacity now.